Hybrid training is one of the best training methods to build a lean aesthetic physique. Many people believe that doing any kind of cardio or sports outside of strength training in the gym will just ruin all of your gains, but that's really far from the truth, as long as you structure your training and nutrition in the right way. And honestly, hybrid athletes often have the sickest physiques, in my opinion. They tend to have the most fun, they tend to be the healthiest, the most functional. And because there's so much variety, you can actually be way more consistent than just doing the same type of regimen in the gym over and over again. So in this video, I'm gonna explain why I chose hybrid training as my preferred method to build a lean aesthetic physique and how it's transformed my body, my physical fitness, my mental health, and hopefully that you can come away with this video with some key takeaways and some inspiration on bringing hybrid training into your regimen as well. So my name is Nigel. I've been a hybrid athlete for as long as I can remember. I'm 31 years old now, but ever since I was 5 years old, I've been playing football, or as we call it in the States, soccer, since I was 5 years old. I've ran track and field at a super high level. I ran Division I track at university as a sprinter and a hurdler. So I have a lot of experience with all kinds of different training methods, from building strength and power, hypertrophy, speed, endurance, agility, you name it. Being what you would call a hybrid athlete is truly one of the best foundations that you can build on if you want to go on this long journey of being a guy that's superiorly physically fit, strong, has an aesthetic body. And I'll share with you, three key takeaways as to why I think this is something that you should start looking to do as well. So when it comes to hybrid training, there's one element where it's kind of the strength muscle building focus in the gym. And then there's the other focus of a different type of training, right? Whether that was speed training, if that's what you want to do, or for something like endurance training. For example, let's say you wanted to do road races, or let's say you were into cycling, for example. It really just consists of two parts, right? Being physically fit in the gym, kind of like a bodybuilding strength type of program, and then another form of training or sports or athleticism that you're naturally interested in and want to improve upon. And so the beautiful thing about that is you're bringing the two key different aspects of physical fitness together, and that's essentially, right, strength training in the gym, hypertrophy, and the other, for example, a simple one is like endurance, right? So for example, my method of hybrid training is lifting and running, okay? And the great thing about that is when you're introducing things like aerobic endurance into the game, that allows you to be a lot leaner easier than if you were just a pure lifter. So what this allows you to do is be able to get lean and then stay lean. So for example, if you are consistently training your aerobic endurance, you're actually training your body's ability to burn more fat for fuel. And that just allows you to be way more efficient in terms of burning body fat. And the key to this is, right, maintaining the amount of muscle that you're building in the gym, and then using that aerobic endurance to shred off a lot of the fat. So that gives you that kind of lean athletic look that everybody is kind of looking for. And then the other great thing as well is just by the nature of you kind of doing more training, right? So you're simultaneously lifting and doing something else outside of the gym, you'll be burning more calories throughout the day. And so that gives you a lot more room to be able to be in a caloric deficit or at maintenance, for example, if you're kind of in that mode of cutting or trying to lose weight, for example. And the great thing about that is it gives you a lot of flexibility and leeway when it comes to your nutrition as well. So for example, if you weren't as active, you're gonna have to be a lot more strict and utilize your calories a lot more efficiently than if you were just someone that was doing a hybrid training program, for example. However, I would be slightly cautious about this. I wouldn't overdo the training, right? So for example, if you were to do a lot of endurance training and you're going way too hard, it can inhibit your ability to recover from your strength training programs. So making sure that you are progressively, adding on the hybrid training elements, right? The endurance training or the speed training. You don't want to go too hard, too fast, because that will actually start eating into your gains. And you don't want to be in a caloric deficit for too long as well. And so the benefit of being able to burn more calories and having more leeway in your diet, if you're someone like me that typically has had problems trying to gain weight or trying to eat enough food. If you go do too much training right outside the gym, right? Let's say you're training for a marathon, it can be very difficult for you to hit the caloric needs that you have to at bare minimum maintain your muscles and your gains, or even improve them, for example. So naturally skinny guys and ectomorphs like me, we kind of have to be a little bit careful when it comes to how we do our hybrid training, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do any of it. I would just say take a measured approach and slowly over time increase the volume of your training. Don't go too hard, don't go too gung-ho, but make sure that you're kind of monitoring your rest and recovery, and pairing that with making sure you're having enough adequate nutrition. Because if you're not resting enough and you're not eating enough, that's just a big recipe for number one, injury and burnout, and actually getting low testosterone, but then also just kind of losing your gains. So it's kind of a double-edged sword here. So just making sure that you're eating enough, you're not too much of in a caloric deficit for too long, and making sure that you're giving your body some time to be able to recover. The second thing about hybrid training is that hybrid athletes typically have some of the best looking natural physiques that women actually find attractive compared to the meathead bodybuilder, like roided out guy kind of look. So that's one big benefit, right? It helps you kind of appeal to that female gaze. And I mean, you can still get massive as a hybrid athlete. Like there's many other athletes out there that are hybrid athletes that still look super jacked, like Nick Bare, for example, and many others. Right, for example, because they've structured their training and nutrition in the way where they can progress in their athletic endeavors, but they still rest and recover and eat enough, protein and calories to maintain their overall kind of physique. And the great thing about it is, as long as you're going to the gym and you're hitting your workouts, your strength training workouts, and you're getting an adequate amount of protein, and you're making sure that you're getting enough calories, you'll be fine, right? There's, this is huge fear. I think it's kind of overblown that you're going to lose your gains. But the great thing is about it is you're going to be so lean, and you're just going to be way more attractive to women, and you're just going to look like someone that is functional, right? Like you're not going to look like that kind of stiff, like meathead guy that it's just all kind of muscles for show. Like when you're in a hybrid athlete, like you look like somebody that's capable of like doing all kinds of crazy stuff, which is, in my opinion, I think is one of the coolest things and benefits of being a hybrid athlete. The last benefit that comes with hybrid training is that you are more likely to be consistent and sticking with this kind of regimen and your physical fitness journey for the long run, rather than just doing a pure traditional bodybuilding style type of regimen, because there's more variety when it comes to hybrid training, and there's typically all kinds of competitions that you can do that's very motivated. You can set clear goals. For example, you can say, oh, I want to run this 5K time in 18 minutes, for example, and like you have like a clear goal, and you can easily measure your progress towards that, and it's just more fun, right? And when things are fun, it's a lot easier for you to kind of get up every single day and do them. Community aspects as well, like there's like run clubs. For example, I'm big on Strava. For example, I love Strava, and it's just motivating to see what other people are doing and making sure that like we're all in this together, and like that just helps with just staying consistent with stuff, because it's so easy to just go to the gym and you got your headphones in and you're just kind of locked in and you're not talking to anybody and you're kind of just like lone wolf type of thing. But sometimes it's best to be in situations where you're in a group type of scenario and you're kind of playing off of each other's energy. And when you're kind of training with other people, or you're on a journey with other people, it's just easier to hold each other accountable. And I would say 80% of your results when it comes to your overall fitness and your aesthetic body journey is really just consistency. So like, I mean, by any means, like I'm not like a Mr. Olympia guy, right? Like I'm a naturally ectomorph guy. I'm more of a hybrid athlete type of guy, but I still have a really aesthetic look that I'm proud of and that women like. And I would say 80% of those results came from just because of the fact that I've been consistent in being a fit guy, and training and making sure I monitor my nutrition, my recovery, and everything like that for the past 15 years. I'm 31 years old now. Like I've been training super seriously since I was 16 years old. And I would say 80% of my results come from that. And then the rest of the 20% is, some of the optimal programming I've done over time and like being super diligent on tracking my training programs and structuring it in the right way and tracking nutrition and being kind of hardcore on that. But I would say most of the results kind of come from these compounding efforts of just being consistent. That's why I think most men should be at least trying to experiment with some hybrid training in their programs right now. There's a lot of benefits. So give it a shot. And if you found this content valuable, feel free to subscribe. I make a lot of content regarding everything from improving men's mental health and increasing your performance physically and mentally. And I'll be coming up with new videos every week, about 2 to 3 times per week. And also feel free to check out my channel, watch some of the other videos I've made around body game, improving your performance, improving your mental health, and things like that. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace.